Hi, this is Chris Heffley with Bandit Software. We're continuing our look at some of the new features that have recently been added to LeanKit Kanban. Today we're going to look at class of service. For each board, class of service is disabled by default. So to turn it on, go into the admin area for the board, click class of service, and click the Enable Class of Service button. Class of service is another way of categorizing the kind of work that moves through your Kanban system. Most often it's associated with the idea of cost of delay. So we categorize the work as in, is it an expedited item? Are we going to rush it through the system? Is it a regulatory requirement demanded by the government? Or is it a date-dependent item that has a very hard stop date, after which the cost of delay goes up quite a bit? So for each of these classes of service, we can add a policy statement. And this can be a statement about how the team is going to handle this kind of work as it goes through the system. I'm going to paste some text in here, and we'll save that. And we'll take a look at it on the board itself here in a moment. You can also change the icon associated with the class of service. You'll see that the standard class of service does not have an icon, and that's also a valid choice. So for regulatory, I'll get in here and change this icon from one of the many here and available in the list. And let's see, just to give you an idea what's there, we'll put a big R on it for regulatory. Now when we go back to the board, you can set the class of service, for example, to expedite. And once that's done, I could also set it to regulatory, the one that we just set up. And you see the icon that we chose appears here associated with the card. Now, to view the policy, let's use expedite since we posted something interesting in there. We can view the class of service policy. This will put up for the team to see reminders about the agreements the teams have come to about how to deal with this kind of work. So in this case, we've said for an expedite item, only one expedited ticket is allowed on the board at a time. We'll make a source control branch every time we have to do this. And expedite items are the first to be pulled above all other items. Work in process limits are allowed to be exceeded if necessary. And we'll deploy it as soon as it's ready to be deployed without waiting for any kind of batch deploy. We can also define an SLA. Expedite work items will be processed and deployed with a lead time of 7 days with a 95% due date performance. If our system has stabilized and we've been able to measure our cycle time and measure cycle time for different classes of service over time, we can make these kinds of statements. You can put anything you want in here. It can be anything that the team has agreed to in terms of how they want to handle this kind of work. Now, one of the other interesting things we can do is we can switch what card, which field is now associated with card color. So in the admin area for a board, there's a card color selector, and you can now decide whether or not you want the class of service to be the color or the card type. By default, it's card type, and class of service is disabled. Once you've enabled class of service, you could switch that so that class of service is denoted by a card color, and then you need to go into the card types area and choose a card type icon for each different card type. This is a different board than the one we just looked at, one that was already set up, so I'm just showing you this as an example. This also class of service for this board has several policies defined, and I'll show you just a second what this board looks like. You can create your own classes of services or edit the ones that are provided already. And so in this case we see a class of service. This blue one is regulatory, and you have a set of regulatory policies. The green one is date dependent, and you have a set of policies based on that. Red one is expedite, and you can see these card icons now are associated with the card type. This is a defect, an improvement, a task, or a new feature. So another interesting new feature that we've added is the the calendar icon. So if a card has a due date set, and that due date is off in the future, you'll see a calendar icon. If it's within 7 days, you'll see it turn yellow, and if it's overdue, you'll see that calendar icon turn red, just like this one. Class of service is one of the more interesting features we've deployed with this latest release of LeanKit Kanban. The standard categories that we've provided by default are fairly common ways of categorizing work based on the cost of delay. But the sky's the limit as to what you can do with it, and we're very interested to see exactly what our users end up doing with it. So if you have any interesting stories about that, or would like to share the way that you've used class of service to manage flow and to manage risk and to evaluate the kind of work you're doing based on the cost of delay or some other factor, we'd love to hear those stories. You can always email us at support@leankitkanban.com or hit us up on Twitter as LeanKitKanban. Thanks very much, and stay tuned for even more screencasts like this one about the new features just released in LeanKit Kanban.